welcome to Eternally Awkward. I'm Penny and today we're going to be testing out the Maybelline Matte and Poreless foundation for normal to oily skin. I have super oily skin that is also acne prone and very sensitive. Products often make me break out with either dermatitis or acne. So with those options available to me, I have to be very careful about what I put on my skin. So I'm going to test out the Matte and Poreless today and do a first impression. And then I am going to keep you updated over the next week as to whether it broke me out in either a skin reaction or with acne. So without further ado, let's get into it. I've picked up the shade Natural Beige, which I'm hoping is going to match my fake tan. So you might be able to see my face is white but my neck is tan. Let's have a look at some of the claims that they make on the package. Maybelline claims that it is our first foundation that fits skin tone and texture. Tone and texture fitting foundation for the ultimate natural fit. Micro refining blotting powders absorb oil for a matte finish. Blurring micro powders erase pores for a poreless airbrush look. And to use, they suggest to apply evenly to face and blend with fingers or sponge. No mention of whether to use a primer or not, so I guess that's up to the individual. I've looked at the ingredients list on the back of the package and I can see that it is a water-based foundation and the second ingredient is a silicone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a primer on one half of my face that has the very same first two ingredients in it, because often if you use a silicone based primer with a water based foundation they can actually separate rather than helping increase their longevity. So I'm going to make sure that everything is kept consistent. Hopefully that will increase the wear time. I'm just going to grab a wee headband here, put my hair back. So I'm just going to prime the left half of my face. Press that in very gently with a damp beauty sponge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some of that foundation on another damp sponge that I haven't used with the primer. So I'm going to apply to the right side of my face first, just to give that primer a wee bit longer to absorb into the skin on the left side of my face. It's a pretty good colour match. Slightly too dark, but I can make that work. So there we have, we've got one side of my face not done and then the side that is done. So it's about a medium coverage. You can still see some redness and some freckles coming through. Personally I prefer that kind of coverage. Now, do I look poreless? Well, I look like I've missed a bit by my ear. I'm definitely not poreless, but my pores do look a lot smaller than usual and I have some pretty big pores to fill in. Massive pores are just part and parcel of having super oily skin. Feels like the primer has absorbed really nicely into this side of my face, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish up at the other side. The undertone is really nice for my fake tan and it is actually working really well. Like I said, the touch too dark, but it actually matches my chest really well. I don't like bringing foundation up under my eyes because I find it can tend to react with my concealer. Really high medium coverage, like that is covered up a lot. I mean, you saw what was going on with my skin before I put this on, so it's looking pretty good. It's definitely not a matte finish. There's no way. So I can already tell that this is something that I'm going to have to set down with a powder. I am going to use a powder that I already know works well for my oily skin. and that is the Rimmel Match Perfection. Promises to wear up to 8 hours, and actually I find I don't get 8 hours wear out of it, but I do get a good solid 4 before I need to touch up normally. So I'm just going to tap some out, and then I'm going to grab another sponge. So many sponges. I don't like cross-contaminating my products. Anyway, I'm just going to dab that in. Dab, dab. I find that with oily skin, powder is best applied with a sponge. Just to prevent that really cakey look. I can't stand when my makeup looks really heavy. I prefer a bit of a airbrush look. I don't really like full coverage foundations, I'll be honest. I like to look like I actually have skin. I don't want to look too doll-like. I still want to be able to see some of my freckles. I still want to look human. Now that's just personal preference. I know there are plenty of people out there who love a full coverage look, and honestly so many people pull it off. I have never been able to pull it off without looking... It just looks really heavy on my skin. I've seen some women out there who look flawless and it doesn't look cakey, and I just haven't figured out how to do that with my skin. I honestly think it is the curse of the oily skin, but hey, it could just be that I have really crap makeup skills. There is a reason my channel name is Eternally Awkward. I'm awkward at most things in life. Right, let's have a look at how this has ended up. I wouldn't say I'm poreless, but it's normal for people to have pores. I'm loving the shade match. I really enjoy how my skin's looking right now. It still looks like real skin. Still see some freckles coming through. If this really does keep me matte for at least 4 hours, I'm going to be over the moon. I'm very excited to see how it's going to turn out. Fingers crossed that it doesn't break me out in any way. Anyway, I'm going to jump off camera and finish the rest of my makeup. I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I've just finished up my makeup and did my hair, aka ran a brush through it and called it a day. I am so hair lazy. Let's see how my foundation is looking. I've got some mascara between my eyebrows, naturally, because mascara is well known for wanting to migrate. So I'm just going to brush that off. My mascara is a bit clumpy today, but never mind, we're just going to roll with it. The real reason I'm here is for the foundation. I can't see any major difference between the prime side and the unprimed side. I guess as time goes on we will see whether it helps with the longevity or the oiliness. My makeup went on really well over the top of it. It blended out nicely. It has already settled into the fine lines of my forehead, but I have come to expect that with pretty much every single foundation that I use. I'm really happy with the way that my makeup is looking right now. So if I don't turn into an oily grease ball in another hour or so, I'm going to be a very happy woman. Hi guys, I'm just heading off to the gym, so I thought now would be a really good time to check in before I get all sweaty and gross. I can see that I'm getting a bit of a glow on with this foundation, but not enough to make me want to touch up yet. I probably will have to touch up after the gym, so I will check in when I get back. Also, I still can't see a major difference between the prime side and the unprimed side. Ooh, maybe I am actually getting a bit shinier on the unprimed side. So this might actually be one that really works well with a primer. Anyway, we'll see how that progresses. I will be back. Given that I've just come back from the gym, I'd say that I'm actually not looking too bad. I'm definitely in a place now where I want to blow up my skin, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Definitely noticing that there is less oil on the primed side versus the unprimed side. So this is actually one that I will definitely use with a primer in the future. Another thing I'm noticing is that there is actually very little transfer. There is barely any of the actual makeup coming off on my blotting sheet. Now I'm going to go and jump out of this gym gear and change into some casual clothes. I've got some bulk cooking for the gym to do, so I will check in just before 5 o'clock. Hey everyone, so it's 4:41 and the sun's about to set in 10 minutes. Unfortunately it's winter at the moment, so the sun goes down super early, so I'm about to lose all my lighting given that I film in front of natural light. So I thought I may as well do my final check-in now. I am going to wear it tomorrow for work, so it'll be on from about 7:30 AM until about 5 or 6, so that will give it a bit of a longer wear test, and I will check in at the end of the day tomorrow and let you know how it held up. So far this has worn really well. My pores still look good. I think there is maybe some minor fading around my nose area. It's still hanging out in my expression lines, but that's no different from this morning. I couldn't help but notice actually today when I was in the gym that my skin looked really good. I'm just really loving how this makeup is wearing on my super oily skin. So honestly, it's enough to make you almost think that I don't have really super oily skin. Primer versus no primer, I'm going to say primer side wins, definitely. There's less fading around my nose. There's this fading and sort of settling around my nose area, and my pores look slightly larger on the unprimed side. So I would suggest wearing a primer with this. However, if you don't, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I think this is still going to wear beautifully. I'm loving the lack of transfer. It hasn't ended up all over stuff today, which is very exciting. Yet again, shade match for me is wonderful. However, in New Zealand it only comes in 5 shades, I think, which is ridiculous. And also you can't get the matte and Poreless pressed powder in New Zealand, so I don't know what's up with that, but not cool, because I really want to get my hands on it and test it out, and I would have loved to have seen how it wore with this foundation. So I'm going to take off now, and you will see me tomorrow at the end of the day after a very long day in this foundation, and I'll let you know how that went. See you tomorrow. It's the following day. I've just got home from work, so I thought I'd check in. It is currently 4:24. I've had my foundation on since 7:15, so it's been on for 9 hours. So I thought I would, without any touch-ups. So I'm actually quite oily now. Today was interesting at work, to say the least. I had the words, "How often do you drop down to your knees?" suddenly uttered to me. My goodness me. I'd say, given that it's been on for 9 hours, none of my bronzer or blush has faded. It's still sitting nicely on my forehead. Yes, there is still a wee bit of settling into my fine lines, but as we learnt yesterday, that's pretty normal for me. Overall, I really like this foundation. I give it 2 thumbs up for oily skin. We will find out within the next week, because that's normally the timeline that I break out in, if this is the foundation for sensitive skin as well. So far I haven't had any dermatitis reactions to it, which would have normally happened by now if I was going to get a reaction like that. So I will keep you updated. I will let you know in the down bar. So please subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos every week, and hit that little bell notification so that you get notified as soon as I put up a video, and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. See you next week.